Hi everyone, welcome to We Just Talking. And you might be wondering and saying to yourself, what is this? What are you about to watch? What are you about to listen to? We are a group of millennials based out of Sunrise Baptist Church, 1101 South Central Park, Chicago, Illinois. And we're going to invite you to comment, join us in on the conversation, let us know your thoughts. We're here to uplift, encourage one another, and also just get to know one another and our experiences and how our church has shaped us. So please join in or not, because anyway, we're just talking. Thanks.
Hey, my name is Brandon, and this is We Just Talking.
Afternoon, everyone. Welcome to We Just Talking, the first installment of We Just Talking. And so, what are we talking about today, Jonathan?
We're talking about family matters.
Family matters. And my question for everybody at the table is, how has your family and your experiences with your family shaped your life thus far?
My experience with my family gave me the foundation that I have. And as I've aged and as I've grown, certain characteristics that I have, I know I wouldn't have if it wasn't for my family, especially my parents. You know, even though my parents separated when I was 5 years old, they both still played a huge role in my life.
Yeah.
So even to this day, one thing I always say is I stand on being a solid individual. You know, I respect people who respect me, but I also respect my elders. Just certain little aspects and things like that, because sometimes we even have friends, and I know I have friends, and I would see them do things or say things, and they'd be like, whoa, like I wasn't raised like that, you know? And I would probably not in that moment say nothing, but later on, like, bro, you could have handled that different, or you should have handled that different.
Growing up, we had to say, you can't get disrespectful to nobody. You say, yes, ma'am, and yes, sir, to the people. You don't say that, you get yourself, you get hit with a Bible.
Right.
Get hit with sticks or whatever. Well, your grandma had it in her hand.
Is she doing that now, though?
No.
So times have changed.
Yes, times have changed.
So this generation, she not doing the same thing.
Right now.
So how is she implementing it?
She said you have to be respectful.
Do you think some of that stuff that we thought may have, well, now we see it as good, but back then, do you think it was more detrimental? Would you say it was detrimental to your growth?
They don't want to be brought up as the way they was back then.
You know, he said something though that's it's kind of important and weird at the same time, because it is sort of like a direct correlation between how people was disciplined back then compared to how they discipline now. But you see how crazy things are nowadays.
Yeah.
So it's hard to say, like, even though that was so unorthodox, or I don't want to do my child the way I was done. All of us turned out all right, though.
Yeah.
Yes, we did.
Just because something worked out doesn't mean that was the best way to do it, though, you know.
Right.
And we all know, a lot of us, I guess 6, 7 brothers and sisters, we all came up under the same roof. We were taught the exact same things, and just about all of us turned out completely different. Like, one person's life, when you see the position that they in and things that they do, was completely different than the next person, you know. Like, for some of us, we turned out just fine. I ain't saying that none of us turned out bad or nothing like that, but we could definitely be in a better position had we heeded to the things that our parents told us.
My question, I think I said that question. You discipline your kids without a belt.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, absolutely.
Especially nowadays, because these kids now are so in tune with the world through technology.
Yes.
So,
My daughter is, if I take that tablet,
Yes.
that's crucifixion.
Oh, me.
That's being put to death. She got stoned if I take that tablet.
Everything to them.
Do everybody feel like that? Feel like the physical discipline?
Thank you for the beats.
Like, no, that's a hot topic.
I mean, it's
Thank
different
you for the
ways.
beats.
Like I always said, he said beatings. There's a difference between disciplining somebody
And beating on
beating
somebody.
on
That's
somebody.
right.
Yeah.
Because once you get to that part, then it's like whatever you was getting in trouble for is not. It don't even make sense not to beat me this bad.
One of the things that it's sad to say people discipline their kids in a physical way when they angry. That's the issue.
Yeah.
Like
That's what we want to be loved.
when you hit whooping somebody, hit somebody, and you already angry, like you really don't care.
Intensifies.
You know what I'm saying? But if you was to take some time, cool out, you chastise a child later on down the line, or later in the day. Like my pops did me like that one day. I promise y'all. Like I was lying about my grades,
Yeah.
and he picked me up on a Friday. He found that I had straight up. He found that I had straight up. He picked me up on a Friday. This man was sick, but he would always come give me on weekends, and it was like a family block. So everybody, I had my cousin, everybody. So he didn't say nothing. Like he let me be with my cousins, chill with my cousins. We go to the movies, gave me money, everything.
Yes.
From Friday, Saturday, we go out, have a good time, everything. He's still in the house sick. Sunday morning, I even bought the man some Theraflu. I remember I bought him some Theraflu, some orange juice, all types of stuff. Sunday morning, he came in there with the belt and said, "I told you I was gonna get you when I get some strength." I'm like, I didn't help, got the man back to health. I thought it was good. I thought I was safe. But he never disciplined me in anger.
Now you deserve to beat it for that. I don't like whooping kids for being kids. You know,
Right.
you see them running around, you see them jumping, doing all that. They gonna do that. They kids. So I think it's now. Well, that's for me. I have more patience than probably my parents did because me jumping around, I probably told one time and then got popped. But I see my kids jumping around, I'd be like, stop. Well, you know, they're gonna be kids. They gotta have freedom.
Is it patient or you tired?
No, I have patience. I know they're kids, so I have more patience. You can't whoop a kid for being a kid. You just can't do that.
You shouldn't do that.
You shouldn't do
You
that.
shouldn't do that, right.
I don't feel like you whooping a kid because they were running around.
Of course, you don't want to do nothing out of anger when it comes to like raising your children and stuff like that. But at the same time, though, when you have to let people know in that time, sometimes what they did wrong,
Yes.
because when you let it go on too long, it gets neglected, it gets forgotten, or you don't get to see the effect that it has later on better than you would right then and there.
I can give y'all an example. My son climbed up on the TV stand in his room, and I was walking past, and this dude sitting in front of the TV, and I had to get him. And the reason why I got him was I had to show him, don't do that. Don't, because you can hurt yourself or you can hurt your sister or whatever. So he never did it again. That's one thing about my kids. They kind of remind me of, who was that, David? In the Bible. He was like, somebody after God's own heart. He didn't do the same thing over and over and over. So I do pay attention to their habits or whatever, so they don't do stuff, but I have to get them. That's how they'll learn.
We've been talking about just tired parenting in general. Do you think that when you classify, I guess, a tired parent, do you think the discipline gets worse, or do you think like the opposite spectrum of that gets worse? Because when I think of a tired parent, I actually think of someone who like, okay, the discipline is staying the same because you tired, so this is the only way I've been doing this my entire yeah. So you keep that the same, but you don't recognize like your child's accomplishments, something that they've done that's good. You don't uplift them because you're just tired. You don't see all that. Do you think it's that way?
What they saying when they're tired is that like I did that, done that. You know, I'm just tired. I'm tired of whooping kid, discipline kid. So they get away with. They let them get away with a lot more.
Yeah.
So they, in a sense, they're losing their patience.
Okay.
And, you'd think they'll be gaining patience, but they're actually losing patience because now they just said, I'm tired. I don't care.
Okay.
Do what you want to do.
Do what you want to do. And like they say, we see that. You got a different mama growing up than they would. Because if I said something out of hand, as a frying pan and thrown across my head, if they saw something out of hand, it's just
They'll get the same treatment.
They'll get that same treatment.
Right.
No.
And I think I'm the child that didn't get. I got the tired parents. My brother and sister, they got that. They was just getting down on them. I'm laughing while I'm getting whoopings. The only thing, like, I remember my daddy, like, he didn't take the belt out or the wet towel and all that.
Jesus, y'all was
That's
Wet
old
towel on
saying.
them. Okay.
Washing my mouth out with soap if I said a bad word, yeah. But but I was kind of defiant. So my son, he kind of reminds me of me.
Okay.
Like when I was
So
a kid.
Do you discipline your kids the same way? Would you? Or do you?
That's a good. Would you discipline them the same way?
I don't think I'm gonna do the ivory soap. I don't think I'm
You say,
gonna do
duh.
the ivory soap.
No, that's the one you gotta keep.
What about the wet towel? You
The wet
said?
towel.
The wet towel, no.
No.
But I'm gonna get you.
Yeah.
You gonna get got.
Yeah.
You will get got.
Do
And
you
discipline.
communicate or do you?
Oh
just go
yeah.
straight to-
While I'm hitting them,
While you hitting?
I'm hitting you, cuz you.
But is that communicating though? That's like,
I mean it is. I mean it is.
When mama will say she get tired, I kind of do understand because she's older, and you have to think about it. She had twins, and I was graduating from high school. Her oldest is 18. Now she has newborns. She ain't that same spring chicken she was when she was raising us when we was in the house. But like you said, it's a 2-parent household. So the help me has to step in and play his role as well. And like I'm no longer in the house, but I can honestly say when I was in the house, it was some times I said, nah, like I would have probably handled that different. You know, like where's the voice?
My dad, he really didn't say nothing. My mama did the discipline, all that. My dad was just there at parents. Like he was there, but he ain't do no discipline.
My mom been parenting for just about 30 years now. Probably Lucius, that's my older brother. He 33 years now, and you know I still got younger brothers. And the parenting that we had to deal with isn't the same thing that my little brothers deal with. And it's like it kind of like what Mimi said. She's tired. That's the thing when we talking about raising children, we can't get tired when it comes to that. You know, when a firm hand needs to be put down, it needs to be put down.
When it's different. My mama had 7 kids. I think all of us probably got a different experience with her. You know what I'm saying? Like I experienced a different Priscilla than y'all experienced. I mean, even though I only had her by myself for like 4 or 5 years, I experienced a different, you know what I'm saying, her version of her than you all do. And I'm sure our younger siblings, they don't even know. They don't even know the mother that we knew 15 years ago. They went around. I tell people, my mama is the sweetest woman in the world. But some of the things my mama used to do, people wouldn't even believe it. They wouldn't believe it.
Would you say you approve of the parenting that you was brought up under? And if you could change anything about it, what would it be?
I'm going first. I feel like I was okay, but I felt like it should have been more praise, kind of, coming from my parents. I felt like I didn't need to hear it in other places, if y'all get what I'm saying. And my dad, I remember I got robbed one day coming home from school, me and my homegirl. And I got robbed, and then my dad was like, you don't got to want for that. I can go get you something. So that's how I was raised. And it took me a long time not to ask even my husband for stuff. Because that's how my daddy raised me. Like, I'm going to get it. I could get it for you. And in my mind, I could get it for myself.
I approve and disapprove, if that makes sense. I disapprove because, like I told y'all, growing up with my mama, it's like I had the tired parent. And that goes back on what we were saying. I had the tired parent. Like, she didn't care. Like, I pretty much did what I wanted, but she, like, didn't care, like, emotionally, you know? And it had to take for my uncle John and them to step in. And I approve of their parenting because, you know, I got whooped by, you know, my auntie, but my mama didn't. Like, and just like you said, it should be praised. It should have been praised. Basketball games, soccer games, volleyball games. Nobody was there. But the person I was, you know, I had support from my friends and probably one uncle that came to games and stuff. But I never got that from my mom. And yeah, I disapprove of how I came up with her, but on the other side, my auntie them, yeah, sort of, kind of, but they wasn't emotionally there either. So it had to take me to go out and find somebody to talk to, or, you know, it was pretty much that I had to talk to people outside of my family you know, to get through what I was going through. So the parents said it was okay, but it could have been better, and that's what makes me a better mom today. To my boys, I want to be there for them emotionally, and I think that's very important because kids,
Especially
I ain't even gonna say
boys.
teenagers, kids go through stuff too.
Yeah.
Elementary school, that's the time you should be talking to your kids like, hey, what's going on today? Like, I try to get Caden to tell me, you know, every day what he goes through, because it was stuff that I was going through. I wouldn't even come home and tell my parents. Like,
Yes.
Brandon, you came up. You know, you're an only child. So, what was your experience like?
You really want to hear this, don't you?
Yeah, 'cause I think everybody else here got siblings, don't they?
Yeah, pretty much.
Everybody
What I really was gonna say about that was that I oftentimes had parents that was like very in tune with me, like they gave me a bunch of attention, right?
a blessing.
So yeah, exactly. That's a blessing. I can't really relate on a lot of that, you know, multiple siblings level, but really they would oftentimes be the ones asking me like, "Hey, I know something's wrong with you. I know something's wrong." Like they would like keep like, "Hey," until I said something, which. When I look back on it, I'm glad they did that. But then as I think about it now, I'm just like, okay, that was also a lot of pressure too. it was a lot of pressure to be like a certain way and everything,
Yes.
which was why like socially and everything, it took me a while to like come around and everything. But a lot of my childhood, I'm really grateful for it. I think I approve of it more than disapprove of it, I would say. But I don't think I've really changed that.
It's like I don't want to take away from my children personality, and I felt like that was taken away from me because I was like that child. I spoke my mind, but then I had older parents too that was tired, but they was like, a child should stay in a child's place, and you know, those little sayings, and I'm like, wait a minute now, you know. So with some things, I'm gonna teach them some things from the past, but I want my babies to just be they self. Like D2, his big personality, and Dory came in here looking for her mom. She like, well, mama, I want my mama. Well, my like, I want that. I don't want to take that from them. And I feel like with growing up, I got some of that stuff taken from me. Because I feel like you should embrace your kids more, so you can make them the person that they need to be.
I don't like when parents say stay in a child's place, and then but you're not putting them in a childlike environment to be in. Like there's a lot of parents out here who do all type of stuff in front of their kids, talk about all type of stuff in front of their kids, and then be frustrated when they hear their kids repeating it or saying it, or thinking it's funny when they hear their kids doing it or saying it. Like, you can't expect a child to be a child when in the developmental stages they're receiving nothing but adult-like content.
Right.
You know?
I think some adults, like, they didn't know it. I ain't gonna say they didn't know any better. They didn't care, because it was like, you know, some scenes in a movie we shouldn't be watching. We was watching sex scenes while it was grown-ups in the room, and then we go laugh about it. You saw that on TV? Stay in the child's place. Oh, I'm finna whoop you. You can't whoop me. You just let me watch these two grown-ups. You know?
A lot of it got to do with
It's
How they was
the parenting that came before our parenting.
Generational
you know,
curses.
Yes.
That's why I went
That's
with
what
the
it
question.
is.
I'm sitting here, I'm like, I agree, but it's because of that. Like, my mom's father wasn't there. My father wasn't there. I never met my real blood granddaddies. Never met them. They did the best
That they knew.
That they knew.
You know, like,
They knew.
but that doesn't necessarily mean that I agree with everything
I
that
was
they
gonna
do.
say. So y'all blaming that on the parenting they had. That's no excuse.
No, I'm not making an excuse for
Yeah.
it. But when it helped me rationalize why I was brought up the way I was brought up.
Because that's all they knew.
That's all it is. Seeing what they did, I pulled out what I did agree with and what I didn't agree with.
Yes.
I wasn't beat, like, I wasn't brought up
Right.
horribly.
Yeah.
But
Right.
for people who didn't have no blueprint on my father didn't have a blueprint on what a father looked like. But he did a great job in my eyes in raising me. He was a father not only to me, but even to my guys, my homies. Like, they was hurt when he died, just like I was hurt. You know what I'm saying? So I took the good and the things that I didn't agree with. It allowed me to sit back as a parent now and say, okay, I'm not going to handle this situation. Like, I don't have to hit my daughter because she peed in the bed. You know, I don't have to hit my daughter because she lied about it.
That's a very
I can
accurate
just
statement.
talk to her. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And going back to what you said, Sandra, I used to worry about my daughter because when I would bring her around family and stuff, she would suppress her personality.
Yeah, Dory.
You know what I'm saying? But when she was around us, I used to like to say, why you be talking to her like that? But now, man, she talking, she do it.
I think we also gotta understand that our parents are still growing and changing. Like no matter how old you get, you still growing and changing. And you don't understand that when you're young. Like I'm just thinking my parents perfect. They got it all together. They gonna know everything because they my parents.
Yeah.
But I didn't realize that till I got older. Like my mama not perfect. She don't know everything. She don't have all the right answers. She might have the best intentions for me, but she don't. I'm only you know what's best for you, I guess.
True.
Parenting is very much situational. Very like you put into as a parent, you are put into a lot of situations like where you have to literally make a decision right then and then. It could be the wrong one, it could be the right one, but you got to live with it either way. And most of those decisions are based on them knowing you as a person. This is going to be maybe not a tough question, but do you think your parents really understood you?
I'm not gonna say my parents didn't understand me. You could, I guess, you could kind of gauge it by the trust that they have for you.
Yeah.
Because they understood that who I am in front of them. Of course, when you get from around your parents, you ain't the same person.
Right.
But the morals that they put in you should be the same. Like that should stick with you no matter where you at, no matter what environment you in. And since I was, as long as I can remember, I always said, be a leader, not a follower. Be a leader, not a follower.
Yeah.
So even when I was in situations that I shouldn't have been in, I didn't end up in a bad state because I always kept that in mind. You know what? They doing that, I'm not going to do that.
Yeah.
I'm going to be a leader and I'm not going to be a follower. So I'm not going to say they didn't understand me, but I think you can attach age to it.
Yeah, that's what I was.
Because to a certain age,
and things change.
they got an idea of what they want you to be.
Yeah.
So eventually, they have to come to the realization.
Their age change.
I gotta let go. Now, one thing that I would say I wish would have happened that I do with my child, I think it's every parent's responsibility to introduce your child to things that they, especially if they come to you saying that they enjoy this, to find passion earlier.
Yeah.
Now, in my past, I don't think my parents really understood.
Yeah. No.
You know, especially because I enjoy basketball, football. But I love basketball more than I love football. But I think because my father played on a collegiate level, and because of my son, it was always like, I'm gonna steer him.
Yeah, you gonna do that.
Right. You know what I'm saying?
When it comes to like understanding your child, you can only know so much based off what you see when they're around you, and everything else comes from whatever they tell you. I think a good question would be, how many of y'all felt comfortable talking to y'all parents about what y'all was dealing with? I know it's a lot of stuff I was able to talk to my mom and dad about, and it's some things I felt like even now I'll probably still take to the grave. I feel like I couldn't talk to them about.
Okay, but also too, your parents know you.
Yeah.
When you were a little kid, your mama knew who you was. Your mama know your personality.
Yeah.
She know if somebody comes to tell your mama something about you, your mama should know something. Like that don't sound like my child.
Yeah.
Like your parents know you. Like I know them little people I'm raising. Like ain't nobody tell me that Dorwin, he didn't do this, I'm like, nah, you lying. My son did that. Like that sound like that's my baby.
It's two different kind of parenting though. Like my mom, she talk loud, so sometimes when I was younger, it made it seem like it was yelling.
Yeah.
So that's why I really couldn't talk to her. Yeah.
Like he said, like she just got a happily.
Yeah.
She just aggressive. So that's just her. So
I know my mom, she come from a hollering environment. So maybe that's where your mom comes. That's all they know.
Right.
I had a person growing up that I was able to go and talk to without any judgment. And it's important to have a person, older person to go to who you can tell anything and you know they won't judge you.
Yeah.
You know they're gonna give you the right stuff, the right tools to tell you what you did wrong, you know, how to go from there and what to do, instead of someone you coming to somebody telling me, hey, I did this, then they, you know, like you said, they point the finger. Then after that, you shut down. Then I ain't gonna come to that person. I ain't gonna come to you no more.
Right.
And so it's important to have people in your life, or you know, if it's your parents or somebody else, it's important to have. So, you know, with me as a parent, I'll be that type of parent. Like you can come to me tell me anything. You know, I ain't gonna judge you. I ain't gonna go off. You know, we could talk about it, and you know, we'll help you and see why you did it, prevent from happening again. You know.
That's the issue that the world got with the church, though.
Yeah, that's the church.
That's true too.
I come now I'm being judged. Like, I'm already getting beat up out here.
Right.
I come inside.
You know,
This
that's
the place we most vulnerable.
Right, we
like,
was in a meeting one day, and you know, I said that. I say, man, y'all church for sometimes when y'all come save, y'all act like y'all on planet Mars now, like y'all ain't never been here before. Y'all way up here in the clouds. Y'all don't know what it's like to be down here. You been there before, so you don't want to help nobody else out. You just want to keep judging them and judging them.
Yeah.
And that's why most people don't come to the church for help. And you know, you always hear people say, "I'm gonna come to the church when I get ready," or you know, I'm still doing this. That's the time you should be, you know, in the church. Somebody should be guiding you and leading you and telling you. You know, the Bible says, well, we die daily, right? So you know, so you should be in the house. You know, this church is like a hospital. You're supposed to get here to be fixed.
Absolutely.
You're not coming here fixed already. You should be here to be fixed and stronger every day.
Let's transition then.
Go ahead.
Chantrell, do you want to read Psalms 133?
It says, "Behold, how good and how pleasant it is for brethren to dwell together in unity." Yeah, since we're talking about the church family.
I think just freely discuss. Do you feel as if that is truly existing within the church? Like, do you feel like that's the actual environment that the church projects?
yeah, now that we older, because I say we know God more now. I'm talking about all of us.
Yeah.
Because like when we was younger, like we used to get judged like
All
real
the time.
pretty bad. Like,
Yeah.
oh, she did this, stone her. Like,
For real.
and like I left church for about a year or two after I had Kaden, and I told Reverend Story this. I was like, when I was outside of church, that was the best in the world to me. Number one, I wasn't getting judged. I didn't have to hit nobody's mouth about what I was doing. I was free, but I still knew God. But everybody around me was like, you're not doing well because you're not in church. You don't need to be here. I'm not speaking for nobody. I'm speaking for myself. I didn't need to be in church to know God, but it was just a lot of back talking, and instead of encouraging the youth, and instead of, telling us what's right, it was just judgmental, and I think that was wrong. I mean, but we're grown now, so I don't care anymore. You can say Mimi feet too big or her head too big. You can say anything about me. I wouldn't care because I'm not coming here for you.
Right.
So I've grown as a grown woman now. I'm a woman now.
Say that.
I don't care about anybody, whatever you're gonna say. I don't even look at people when I'm up there opening on the organ. I don't even know who here until church is over because I'm not here for you. I'm here for God. But we need to stop that, like the back talking and discouraging our youth. That's why we have them youth now.
I think the church need to find a different approach to how they handle different situations, like you were saying.
Life situation, real situation.
Yeah,
Life situation.
Yeah.
You know what we talked about.
Life situation. I think they come off a little bit too harsh, too rough. You got to come from a place of understanding, and I've been there before. And like you say, they was just talking. They gotta come from a place of understanding, and I've been in these situations. I know, like an older gentleman in church came to me. He was like, "Man, I was at McDonald's, and I saw this guy with his pants hanging down." He said, "I yelled at him, 'Hey man, pull your pants down.'" He said the guy went off on him. He's like, "You think I was wrong?" I said, "Yeah, you were wrong, because number one, you don't know this person. Number two, you yelled at him. How you got his attention? You could have walked up and said, 'Hey, my brother, how you doing, man? What's your name? How you doing? How you feeling today? And then politely, hey, please, can you just pull your pants up, respect for the lady?" Maybe he would have put it up then, but you running up to him and say, hey, pull your pants, just yelling at him in front of everybody, then he gonna feel disrespectful. I mean, disrespect. Now he gonna, battle with you.
It's kind of the opposite of what you said for me. When I was younger, I had a different view of the church. I didn't go to church. That's probably why. When I came here, my perspective is different now than what it was when I was 13 years old. I guess when you get to a certain, I don't even want to say position because I'm a minister, and that's what I'm called, but I'm still certain. But that was one of the reasons why I accepted my call. I remember the call I made to pastor. It was because God spoke to me. I always felt like I can't be no preacher. Like I'm not like them. I'm nothing like what I see. I'm nothing. But then I started, once you in that position and once you start to realize they're just men too.
Right.
You know, they're just people just like you.
Mm-hmm.
But I knew God could use me to touch people that some of them couldn't touch. And there's people I can't reach that they can reach.
That's true.
And some of it has to do with the age demographic, but some of it has to do with your personality. And being in the position that I'm in now, I kind of feel like I saw someone right back here in this room that had me like so, I was hurt, but at the same time I was like, what? This man said in our service, and he had asked for $25, and they was back here, you know, with doing the trades for the communion, and the deacons and everybody. I was just doing deacon at the time, and I'm thinking, we just took up an offering. I know I just gave y'all more than $25, so I'm thinking they gonna help this guy out. So they was just ignoring him. I'm like, maybe I'm missing something. You know what I'm saying? So one of the deacons, I ain't gonna say his name, he no longer here anyway. He was like, we ain't got no petty cash on hand. And I'm like, what's petty cash? So another deacon, he broke it down to me like, you know, some churches have petty cash for situations. But in my mind, I'm like, we just took up a love offering.
That's exactly what love offering is.
Right.
Why can't you go in there
Like a benevolent.
and give it to him? That hasn't been counted yet.
And that's exactly what it's for.
And when I say it turned me off, it made me like I ain't stopped going to church, of course, but it kind of made me feel like, y'all bogus. Like, how you gonna not get a man regardless of what he's finna use it for? I don't care.
Yeah, that don't matter.
If you ain't have it.
I don't care. Jesus didn't care what you. Come on, man. That just turned me off, and I feel like that one situation, it kind of changed my perspective on understanding church a business too.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, it is.
Church is the business, but when I feel like when the business becomes or take precedent over the soul, I got a problem with it. Man. I got a problem with it.
You know, I'm not taking up for the church. Maybe he was a usual.
A repeater.
A repeater. So maybe he was a repeater guy, and they probably was back at joke and making jokes, telling him we ain't got it because he was a repeater. But some churches do that. And to piggyback on what you said, you not like them, right? You don't walk like them, you don't dress like them. And so that was for me coming to a deacon thing, right? When I first joined, I always thought I had to have on a suit. Every Sunday, I got some shine. Right? And then another deacon came, he ain't here no more, he came to me, he said, man, he said, you look nice. He said, but that ain't you. He said, you gotta be you. You gotta be you. We chose you because you bring something different that that we want inside the church. So ever since then, I dress the way I want to. But you still have those deacons. A deacon came from another church, and I was sitting in the front row, and he was like, "You a deacon or trainer?" I said, "No." I was like, "No, I'm not a deacon or trainer." He was like, "Man, where your suit at?" That's the first thing. He ain't asked my name. He didn't know nothing. He just asked me. And some people in this church was doing that to me too. Like, man, you supposed to have on a suit. No, what the suit gonna do? You know what I'm saying? It was a few people with digging and training when I was younger people my age. They left because it was more on your personality. It was more on your appearances than it was than who you were. They couldn't get past that.
That's true.
I still do.
So that's
Like
you know
you
what?
said, you gotta know who you are.
That's true. Because someone told me I had to, by me up here saying I had to have a skirt down to my feet. Like, are you serious?
That's
like,
that tradition though.
Yeah.
That's exactly what it is. It's traditional. It's what they
don't
used
look at what
to.
I'm wearing.
Next topic.
It's about the ministry.
It's like they know who
They try to put it in check.
Yes.
Yeah. All
Like,
the time.
That's wrong. That's
It is,
wrong.
and it is, and it shouldn't be like that, especially
Want a
under the
reaction
house.
to it. They want a reaction out of you.
I wouldn't even say that they want a reaction. It's because they feel like
want a
because
reaction.
they feel like because of who you are,
They want to see-
you're supposed to be held to a higher standard. So like it's like they can see one person come into church wearing something, they don't care about what they got on, but nah, you dance real right. You got to come in here like this. You got to like, and it shouldn't be like, and it shouldn't be like that, you know.
Like that, no.
Especially if what you talking about is just because that's what you used to seeing every Sunday, or that's what you used to like. It's a lot of stuff. It's a lot of things that we do. A lot of things that we try to hold up. That ain't even in the Bible.
Yeah.
It's just okay. Like the daddy and granddaddy and great granddaddy, when they was in church before me, they did stuff like this. They did stuff like that. They got up, do this, do that, and we're in a entirely different. The music is different today. The media is different today. The things that they did back then have been developed into something different today, and so we need to explore those things different. Especially when we're talking about praise, because praise is a personal thing. Like how I praise ain't gonna be how you praise. You know, how I present myself ain't gonna be how you present yourself. But my spirit is in the right place, and that's all that matters, right?
But one thing I don't think they really realize is the damage that it does.
Yeah, you do.
Because word of mouth is a version of advertising as well. And so many churches be saying like, "Wow, we don't have no youth." Like, they'll ask that question, but how many of them have y'all turned away?
Yeah.
How many? Even if you just turned away one, how many do that one know that's not gonna come there just because of what you did?
Yeah, that's even
To that
more
one
prevalent
person.
now because it's easier to spread it, through
And
medias and everything. Yeah.
It's sad. Like I'm strong-minded, and probably go back to that. You're leading not a follower. I never put weight on what was said about me from individuals that don't matter in my life. But even recently, man, like right before COVID, I had somebody come to me, and I'm 30 at the time, 29, 30. It still kind of was depressing to hear this. Like somebody actually came to me and said, one of the deacons.
We can do that.
Had mentioned to them, like, if only he would just cut his hair. Like,
What does that even mean?
right, like, why you focus on what's on top of my head? I ain't out here like Cam Newton. My stuff be big. I try to be presentable.
Even if it
was,
They be stuck in their ways.
Yeah.
Remember the story said, "Oh, we gonna wear jeans second Sunday." Y'all remember that? You should have saw the people. I said, "Oh, jeans." In her world, like, oh my God.
They thought they was going to hell.
They just stuck in their ways. Like jeans is not gonna stop us from listening
stop
to
you
you
from praising them.
Yeah.
It's like you can't really please them though. Like,
Yeah.
you can't. You would drive yourself crazy. You trying to please
somebody,
people.
they be playing.
I've been kind of one of my sermons, man.
It's just a different generation.
But to bring it back to the conversation though, like it's not necessarily that we're trying to please them. It's the fact that we're talking about family. You know, my family. I don't care how you come in here. I'm glad to see you because I love you like family.
Go back to this Wednesday, Pastor was teaching on that. You know, the saying, come as you are. Yeah, like you said, we get people that come here, but eventually, if you show somebody love, if you make somebody feel welcome, if you make somebody feel wanted, you will see a change in those things. And if you truly love an individual, you would reach out a hand to help them.
Yeah.
Maybe they're not in a position to come in here with a suit on. Maybe you got one hanging up in your closet that you know you can't fit no more. It's all about understanding and having a heart for people. That's one thing I always loved about Pastor Story. Like Pastor Story, even though he's older, he can relate.
Yeah.
He's a relatable person to all generations.
One thing that I would definitely say is that you have to really take people for who they are. You have to meet people definitely where you at. That's honestly what Jesus did in every story in the Bible, and what he did, he took people for who they was. He really got down to their level and really tried to understand the situation that it was that they was going through, and he really did listen. And he acted accordingly and acted in a way that was exactly what that person needed. We're not him, so we can't do that, but we should try to strive to be the best that we can in doing that. But just to close on this entire topic as a whole, if there was just any piece of advice you could give either to a parent, a family member, a friend, or church member on what we discussed today, just what would it be if it was one piece of advice?
That everybody should be understanding, more understanding.
More understanding and listen more.
Mm-hmm.
Listen to your kids is very important. You don't know what they're going through. Listen to them. Ask questions. You never know, because things can happen in a second.
Mm-hmm. Be able to adapt to change and don't judge your children. Like, just be able to listen and clearly communicate. Just try and, not judge.
Don't take people for granted. Regardless of the age, don't feel as if they can't teach you something. Mm-hmm. We all can teach each other. Mm-hmm. I'm learning stuff all the time from a 7-year-old that I didn't learn in school, that I couldn't have learned in school. Have patience. We have to have more patience. And if COVID have showed us one thing, is you could be here today, going tomorrow. We used to say tomorrow is not promised. The next 30 minutes is not promised. Mm-hmm. We have to show more love to one another and have, like everybody has said, on a certain level, have some understanding and come down off your horse. Like Brandon said. Mm-hmm. We're not Jesus Christ, but we can meet people where they at. Because a lot of times we've been there. That doesn't necessarily make you a bad person because you go back there to pull somebody up.
Listen, love, be open to change, but also what you spoke about today, brother, forgiveness. We gotta forgive. We gotta forgive.
And just listening to people and and finding good in people. What's wrong with loving and finding good in each other? Because it's good in everybody. So
Simply listen, patience, have understanding, be willing to change, love, kindness, approach people with kindness, not always hatred. A lot of people take the Bible and sometimes people will tear you down with it, but that's not what it's for. It's to build you up.
Yes.
So, try to build up someone instead of tearing them down.
Love is patient. Love is kind. It does not envy. It does not boast. It is not proud. It does not dishonor others. It is not self-seeking. It is not easily angered. It keeps no record of wrong. Love does not delight in evil, but rejoices with the truth. It always protects, always trusts, always hopes, always preserves. Love never fails, but where there are prophecies, they will cease. Where there are tongues, they will be still. Where there is knowledge, it will pass away.
That's a wrap.
round of applause.
I want to thank you all. Let's give yourselves a hand. And as a reminder, when you come to this table, we just talking. It's just us. We welcome other people to join in, of course, with all your thoughts. And whatever is on your mind, just say it.
Amen. And we just talking. Say that. If you or someone you know would like to take part in our next conversation, join us over at Sunrise Baptist Church, 1101 South Central Park, Chicago, Illinois. Members and guests are welcome. Thanks for watching.